I think that we might actually be live for Lava Elastic the 27th of August. This is a neurodiverse comedy and poetry and general stuff night. A crucial word being neurodiverse there. I'll explain a bit about that later. Hopefully there's some folks joining us already. If there's not, we were a little bit behind because technology was kind of punching me in the head a little bit today. Sometimes that happens. I'm trying to improve, basically. I'm just going to check, actually. This is a fun bit. This is where I just mess around with gadgets a little bit and, talk amongst yourselves. I'm Sarah Saeed, by the way, if you're wondering. I mean, it does say that there. I do love lights. That's also very true. I love them a lot, all kinds of lights. So I am just trying to wait to see if maybe before I do my little introduction and check-in about what neurodiversity actually is, I'm just going to kind of make sure that a few of us, a few of you have had the chance to join us. Wow, English is not my strong point today. That's reassuring for you guys, isn't it? That you've had the chance to join us before I explain the sciencey bit of what neurodiversity is. For those of you that already know, I'm really sorry, I don't want to teach anyone's grandma to suck eggs. But sometimes that just has to happen because, sometimes we know stuff that other people don't, vice versa. Or as a lovely lady told me today, Vicky Verka, because that's what she used to say as vice versa when she was little, and now it's stuck in my head. Anyway, Vicky Verka, that's so adorable. It really is going to be, it's like an earworm, but with words. So the first thing before I explain more about neurodiversity is I'm just going to let you know that we've got some brilliant acts on tonight. We always have brilliant acts on. We're not always online. Sometimes we're live in a space with a live audience. But the lovely thing is that we're trying to do both in the future. A little bit of online, a little bit of live. See how that goes. Because, as audience members and as performers, we all want different things. So there will be more online shows in the future. The performers that are on tonight are a mixture of comic performers and poetry performers and a little bit of music, which is brilliant. We're a little bit of a mixed bag. I'm going to explain now what neurodiversity is, just because I want to get on with the show, quite honestly. Just as simple as that. So once upon a time, they, as in humans, let's say the medical field, the world at large, used to think that there were two kinds of brains. There was kind of like normal brains and just weird or different or wrong or not working properly, whatever. All of those really unhelpful descriptions and inaccurate. And now, I'd say like for the last couple of decades, there's been more thinking along the lines of the fact that as human beings, there's lots of different kinds of brains. So then we are neurodivergent if we have a brain that might be on the autistic spectrum. We could have ADHD. Some of us could be both. Dyspraxic, dyslexic, all kinds of different variations like bipolar disorder. Although personally, I don't really love the word disorder amongst these things either. I kind of like the word condition or difference. So these days, we just think of ourselves as a mixed bag of humans that are different in a whole bunch of ways, like blood groups. With blood groups, you don't have one that's right and all the rest of them are weird, do you? We just have different kinds of blood groups. I might have stalled long enough, and hopefully this has even been helpful. Don't know, interesting. Who knows? What I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the other Sarah onto the screen, because she helps me out with the stuff that I'm not brilliant at, because I can only multitask. I can basically talk to you guys and do nothing else tonight. That's it. So the other Sarah very brilliantly kind of steers the ship of Lava Elastic through all the other stuff. I'm going to bring her on. So this is the other Sarah. And thanks for joining us, by the way. It's good to know that you're there. Communicate with us. Sarah J will tell you more.
Hello, hello.
Hi.
Hi, it is awesome to be here. This year has both gone super, super whizzy fast and has crawled along like the slowest Galapagos tortoise on the planet.
It doesn't make any sense anymore, does it?
Yeah, how are we at the end? How are we at the end of August? It's amazing, but it is awesome to be here. And yeah, I think we're starting to find our way with these online shows. I think we're really starting to find our groove and find the performers that are really suiting it, and it's just awesome. So my job tonight is to wave pom-poms in the background for the fabulous Sarah Saeed, but also to help. Oh,
I didn't pay her.
yeah, it's all right. You can put the check in the mail. It's fine. But my job tonight is to help kind of smooth things along, talk to you in the chat, whether that be on Facebook or whether that be on YouTube, to make sure that when our fabulous performers are on, that you have access to their social media details so that you can follow them, because they are awesome and should be followed. They have adventures and things to say and ideas and all kinds of stuff that you really should check out. Because they are just a bunch of awesome. And also keep things moving along. It's encouraging you to interact, because obviously we can't hear you, sadly, like we might in a live show. So what we do is we ask you to, through emojis of all descriptions, there's more than just smiley faces, and just to use the emojis to show us that you're there. So if you are out there right now, please inundate us with emojis, because we love to know that you're there. It is your way of whooping and hollering and cheering, strangely enough, in a way that's quite friendly to neurodivergent people, because quite a lot of neurodivergent people have sound challenges, hyperacusis being one of them.
Distortions and
yeah,
things.
exactly.
I've
So
got hyperacusis. We know quite a few people with hyperacusis, don't we?
Exactly. So not having the boink of the clap, the clap sound, in fact, is both wonderful, because their ears don't hurt, and their brains don't go, oh, ow, 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 because it's more than just hearing. It's like right into the center of themselves. It's just, yes, watching someone suffer is heartrending, but also, it is our way to know that you're there and that you're loving it, and to show them your love. So that was a very long-winded way of saying, yay, please interact in chat with us, because that way we know you're there.
But it's crucial stuff. It is.
It really is. And we haven't really talked about the nitty-gritty of some of the neurodivergent conditions, and just because there's sort of not enough time, because it's not that kind of show. But there are things that are surprising. So you wouldn't think that a simple clap might be, you think you're showing appreciation, and your poor neurodivergent person is going, I love that you're showing appreciation, but I'd really like you to stop now.
Can I just ask you,
Yes.
so you will be navigating the lovely folks that are watching, won't you?
I will. Absolutely.
Chatting and sharing info.
Yeah.
You'll come back on at the end, won't you, as well?
If you want me. If you haven't gotten bored of me by now.
Of course.
I've always loved chatting with you, so I'll be here.
Well, in that case, do you mind if I throw both of us out in a minute, actually? But I'm going to throw you out first, Sarah. I'm going to bring the first. I'm going to bring the first lovely act on screen.
Yeah, you should do that. They're the fabulous performing people. We should just go away and do it.
Should we do that? Should we let them come up? Right, cool. I will see you in a bit, and thank you in advance for
no worries.
saving my arm 3 times.
All good. Bye.
So that was Sarah J. I am Sarah S. Just for the sake of balance, I thought I'd share that. Could be helpful. Don't know. We've got a first brilliant act on. She has been on before quite a long time ago. And she's based in the northeast, but she's actually a Brummie. I always think she's really funny. Lots of people think she's really funny. I'm just going to check if if she's ready, if she'd like to join me. I might have caught her off guard then. I don't know. No, it's all good. Right, this is on screen in a second. The fab Helen Edwards. Hi, Helen.
Hi, Sarah. You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm well, thanks.
Did I just bust you in a cup of tea? I'm really sorry.
It's part of my act anyway, so.
I'm going to shove off and shut up. I'm just
if you write a joke where you anyway, I don't want to ruin it, but yeah, you'll see.
It's all right. I'm just going to leave you to it, and I'm going to butt out and shove off and leave you to have the screen to yourself. Thanks, Helen. It's so nice to see you.
It's lovely to be here as usual.
I'm going to remember how to get myself out of your way. See
ya. Apparently, chocolate's really good for depression. The darker, the better. That's ironic, isn't it? I'm self-diagnosed autistic. I decided to disclose this information to a few carefully chosen friends tonight, so I hope you all feel pretty fucking special. Diagnosed is the wrong word. It's not a disease. Well, it is a disease if buying a gaming laptop in lockdown just so you can pretend to drive trains is a disease. My therapist's been helping me with some self-care now that everything's opening up again. I haven't had the heart to tell her that I'm autistic, so all my time is me time. I'm very literal. My sister invited me to her baby shower. I only went along because I was really looking forward to seeing toddlers raining down from the ceiling. I brought my umbrella with me and everything. A lot of autistic people struggle with sensory processing issues. Everything's too bright, too loud, too sexy. I've never really understood the point of fireworks. If I wanted the joy they bring, I'd pay a friend to jump out and scream at me randomly. I don't do small talk. All my speech is big talk, which can be a tad intense. Not everyone can handle it. Some people run away. One friend was so freaked out by my enthusiasm, she moved to Portugal and forgot to tell me. Making friends in primary school was relatively straightforward, although the boys' games were much more fun. We used to pretend to be racing car drivers. The premise was simple. We just ran round and round the bike sheds. We did the staggered start and everything. So high school was a bit of a shock. I was horrified to see my classmates just stood around talking to each other at break times. I hadn't received the memo, and they all just knew that this is what you were supposed to do now as a grown-up child. I still wanted to play racing car drivers, so I did. I'm still stepping out on my lunch break to do a couple of circuits. Up until fairly recently, you were only allowed to call yourself autistic if you also identified as male. There was this idea that autism meant having a brain that was wired in an offensively manly way. I think that's grossly unfair. I know I haven't shaved my legs for a while, but I don't remember touching anyone inappropriately. At least, not recently. I don't think I've ever wolf whistled anyone in my life. I can't even whistle. When I was at school, autism wasn't a thing. You were either stupid or clever. Because I was intelligent in certain ways, I slipped under the radar. I could read really fast as a child. Couldn't read people for shit. In my first real job working in retail, I let a customer walk out the shop with a complimentary bottle of Jack Daniels. He'd asked me to hand it to him so he could have a look at it, and I believed him. You see, with very few exceptions, I mean everything I say, literally. What this means is I get deeply offended whenever someone misuses the word literally. If anyone's put the work and the hours in to earn the right to use the word, it's me. I'm really bad at telling people their hair looks nice, especially when it doesn't. I never know whether people really want to know how I am or not. And when someone tells me to have a nice day, I always think we're sharing a bit of a moment. That's fine. In fact, it's quite nice. What's horrible is when I tell them to have a nice day back and they think I'm the one being insincere. I do tend to overshare inappropriate information with strangers. Not at the bus stop, just on stage. I'm hypersensitive to everything. My Fitbit's pretty easily upset too. It registers steps when the bus driver goes over the potholes in the road. They're so deep now, I get halfway to orgasm on the way to work. The last time I was on the bus, I was so excited when I reached my destination that I leapt up, sprinted past a sweet little old lady and jumped in a bush to finish myself off. I've had to rename my Fitbit, my Clitbit. Coincidentally, that's also the name of this part of my set. I love wordplay. I can't eat gluten. It makes me people intolerant. If I ever move to France, I'm definitely going to open a gluten-free bakery called Bread is Pain. I was a somewhat picky eater as a child. Couldn't tolerate the texture of meat. Couldn't be asked to chew it either. I'm not saying I was a lazy kid. I just always found lollipops a bit too much like hard work. I've got a really well-developed gag reflex, which is a somewhat underrated trait in a stand-up comedian. I grew up in a working-class family in the 1980s. There was no time for things like sensory sensitivity. My parents just needed to get me fed so we could all get on with our day, you know? My mum started hiding the meat inside lots of vegetables to try and trick me into eating it. Just let that sink in for a minute. My mum hid something I didn't like inside something most kids don't like. Naturally, I ran upstairs and spat the whole lot out when I thought she wasn't looking. But I've never been able to tolerate having an X-ray done properly at the dentist. I can't cope with those bits of plastic they try and ram up against the side of your tongue, like they're stuffing a hamster's cheeks. My dentist is nothing if not determined, although she did give up after getting showered in vomit for the third time. She wasn't too fazed by coronavirus. She's been wearing all the extra PPE for years. They finally caved in and let me have a go on the stand-up X-ray machine. They got to hear one-liners at the same time, so everyone was happy. I must admit, I am still struggling to understand just how the male autism researchers have managed to miss the fact that women can be autistic too, especially given all the things women are expected to do in order to get closer to men. Ironically, though, there has to be some evolutionary advantage to freaking out every time there's something in your mouth that feels like it shouldn't be there. My sensory issues make things feel much bigger than they actually are. Form an orderly queue, folks. One of the diagnostic criteria for autism is a lack of social skills. Now, I don't mean to brag, but I did accidentally call one of my work colleagues a slag once during a tea break. Awkward. So awkward, I was asked to work from home before the lockdown. The funny thing is, me and this woman are now the best of friends. All I'm saying is, experts don't know shit. I'm really bad at lying, so everything I'm saying tonight is true, except for the bit about the vibrator. I've never needed one. I can think myself there most days. Being oversensitive does have its advantage. A lot of autistic people engage in something called self-stimulatory behaviour. It's called stimming for short. Now, I used to think that I didn't have any obvious stims. And then it occurred to me, I don't feel complete unless I've got a mug of tea welded to my face. I drink tea the way most chain smokers get through cigarettes. But doing all these online gigs has made me a bit more self-conscious about my resting autism face. On a good day, it sits somewhere between constipated, confused, and mildly aroused. I've had a few people end meetings early. They thought my internet had frozen. But it was just my face. You've been lovely. I've been Helen Edwards. Thank you.
I'm so sorry, Helen. Thank you so much. Can I just tell you that coughing fits are a sign that something is really funny. I actually felt a bit ill with all the best respect and love in the world during that. So thanks. I laughed really hard. Thanks for joining us again tonight. It's really, really nice to have you back. Really nice.
It's lovely, lovely. It's a really lovely gig to do.
I'm glad you like it. Thank you. That's really, really that's what we try to be. So thanks. Helen Edwards. Ladies and gents, you can do typing versions of applause. Shall I let you go? Would you like to go and have a Friday night?
I'm going to finish my pot of tea now. Maybe have a cider, even.
You made me want one.
Tea or cider?
Oh, good point, actually. Probably red wine. In my case. Have a lovely rest of your evening, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. You too.
Always a massive pleasure. See you later. That was Helen Edwards from up north, from further up north than where I'm from. Actually, I think quite a few of our acts tonight are from up north. I think so. Yeah, I don't think I'd really thought about that, actually, but it's true. Mind you, when you're in Brighton, you're quite southern. Even though I'm originally from up north, as in Yorkshire. She genuinely did make me laugh so much that my stomach hurts and I feel a little bit sick. I just thought I'd share that with you all, and I do mean that in a good way. It's really nice to kind of have to see some of the. So we've had a break from doing online shows because the world has been doing funny things where it's been going back outside again a bit more, and live gigs have been happening and stuff like that. But actually, there's kind of an element of missing the folks that do the online shows, that we saw each other a little bit more during lockdown and things like that. And actually, there's a little bit of that missing now. So it's real pleasure to see some of the folks that are on tonight, because lockdown ending or changing or shifting or whatever on earth is going on, we all know we don't fully know what's going on. Just it's different at the moment to what it was before, and how will be in 2 months. Who knows? But it is really nice to see all the lovely faces and see their comedy again, which is ace. The next act, though, this evening is not so much comedy as he's marvellously wordy. Well, he's actually a poet, to be honest. I do believe that he's also from up north-ish, possibly the Midlands, actually. We're not international, we're very national here, as in we've got all areas of the UK covered. See, that's one of the great things about online shows that's easier to do, that's not. I think I'm preaching to the converted here. I think we all know that there's a lot of beauty in it, really, because otherwise we couldn't all gig tonight together easily. So a little bit of magic in that, isn't there? A little bit of magic. I'm going to shut up and let him have the screen. This is he has also written some books. He's a writer as well, and he's written some poetry books, and it's worth looking out for them, getting hold of them. We're going to share his information as well after, as we will with all the acts, like Sarah said, so you can find his stuff online. It's really nice to have him on again. It's been absolutely ages. This is the Brill. Callum Brazo. Hi.
Hello. I
How
was
you
I,
doing?
I was glad we were talking there because I was just in fits of laughter as well from the comedy. It's not good for me, man. I need to get in the zone for certain poems.
Yeah. Do you need a moment to
Um,
get your game head on after all the
no,
laughing stuff?
no,
The laughing.
no,
You
I'm
sure?
okay, but it was so funny, so good.
I'd not
I'm
really thought
really
that was
really
fun.
enjoying this.
Say that again.
I really enjoy doing this, so I know I'm just enjoying the show.
Um, shall I get out of your screen and let you have it all to yourself and do your thing, Callum? I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I am. I'm going to get out your way. Callum Brasso, folks, and I'm out.
Right. Disclaimer: I'm very bad at keeping time. However, I've got a few short ones, and then we'll get into some longer ones. See how we go. Right, here we go. And get in the zone. Right, here we are. This is called. This is my stim. Talked about self-stimulatory behaviour earlier. This is my stim. Yeah, I love it. I'll put it down for a minute. This is called "This Is Me." Mr. Mystery, Mr. Misery, Mr. Fidgety, Mr. Finicky, Mr. Timidity, Mr. Optimism, Mr. Indecision, Mr. Affection, Mr. Full of Questions, Mr. Considerate, Mr. Articulate, and sometimes known to be Mr. Wittering Idiot, Mr. Diplomacy, Mr. Common Sense Deficiency, Mr. Mad Movement whose inhibitions flee. This is me. Thank you. And I do have to say thank you at the end of my poems because with what I do, you know, I've done it before where you can't tell that I finished, so you need some sort of. This next one, in and out of a shot here. This next one is called The World. The world is a practicum aim for your maximum potential as an individual, a personal pinnacle. Be analytical, but act upon it. Embrace the impact of knowledge. Utilize it. Human beings are packed with promise. All that you need to learn is a receptive mind to teach if you are blind. Use speech, find an alternative route. 3 stages: engage, educate, distribute. Thank you. This one is called, I do move around a lot, keeping it free flow. This one is called Life's Library. Okay. And it's not so much about the physical kind of library, it's just, you know, life is about learning and what you take from it and trying to find who you are and what you relate to. So just a quick one about that. Life's Library. A cluster of compositions line the shelf. The past, the present, and the future. I find myself. This is not written to spite librarians, but humankind's cognition is a live variant. So however its quality is verified, all I want to know is, where am I? I clamour to identify with it, whether by image or what's inside the pages. And if you thought your life's finished at the conclusion, write your own chapter. You can manufacture movements. Yeah. Quick plug, this is said book that was referenced before, called Movement. It's in here, this is written years ago, so it wasn't written as a plug, but it turns out it's a plug. So here we go. It's just my life story. Some funds currently go towards Autistic Empire, which you may have heard of. I like to use my platform to promote other people. Autistic Empire is a social organisation that has people putting their stuff on. So my book's on there, and Autistic Led is a group that I facilitate. Say help. I facilitate. I'm part of, I guess. And some of the money for the book goes towards helping that as well, which is it's all I'm very passionate about it. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm aware I'm rambling. This poem I shall call Masking Interlude. So the next poem after this is going to be called Masking, but this one is one that I'm writing. It's part of the story I'm doing. This is called Masking Interlude. Zach's in crisis. Already stamped and flapped, doesn't matter, because now his hands are wrapped in tight fists, prepared to attack anyone that's in sight, which is a red flag. Not to identify leads or any internal sacrifices, but just to point to Zach's plight as a problem. This, in turn, confirms his inner stigma, far from the bigger picture, but Zach's never seen it. He's always been labelled a misfit with fragmented pieces of a whole. Victimised for meltdowns he can't control, repeatedly told he's got issues at school, when in reality, they have merely misused the tools to shape Zach. You see, autistic people aren't made with pre-made maps to mental health services. Society creates that. And it all can be traced back, diagnosed with deficits, defects. He was never taught to be anything more, only to be less able to communicate properly, less likely to contribute to the economy, caught in the reflection of who he is and who they want to see. Following on from that is it's a work in progress, but I thought I'd share some new stuff, which isn't in the book. This one is called Masking. Camouflaged in plain sight, my brain might implode. I'm masking. A mannequin wrapped in second-hand packaging. Society's suppression is sabotaging my disassembled self's mental health as I'm passing the norms. So I ask for reforms on behalf of the pawns in this game. We have no idea how to play as we go step by step closer to the edge of this cliff, outright rejected, dismissed, neurotypical majority setting the script. We're actors. When can we take the mask off? Before we disintegrate, when does the facade stop? When do you see my true colours? Suicide and filicide. I don't want to lose others if I can mobilise the youth as a tribe of resolute lovers and empathise. There's nothing to fear. We won't have to keep the truth covered. Machine-run mentality is autopilot. It's like my true form is private, but I will make it public. Won't suffer from injustice. I am autistic and I love it. But that doesn't mean that we don't have problems with environments and attitudes, but there are other options. Rather than curing what isn't an infection, autism is a spectrum. The answer is to listen, not division or indifference, but acceptance. This is following on that theme, as they all are kind of the theme. We go from Zach, who's made up, to masking, and now this one is called Nameless, and then I will finish with the energy bulb, which is about grief and hope. This is not masking, this is Nameless. Well, it's not. To be on the autistic spectrum is neither infection nor disease or a mixture of your deformities. It's not backward. Let's move forward, please, because labels and life are like chalk and cheese. We are not orphaned genes, scraps from what the genetically best took. Failures since we were fetal. Take note, we are not textbooks, we are people. We are not oddities with locks and keys, pigeonholed as comedies or coded anomalies. We are not your intellectual properties. We own, we live, we exist. a multitude of preset myths. So let me say this audibly. I am autistic and there is so much more to me. Thank you. Finally, it's so good to be back, standing up and performing. Oh my goodness, I'm so energized. Calm down. Stim. Right. This is all real. The energy bulb, here we go. About grief and hope. Originally about Mendip House. A few places that's supposed to keep us safe haven't done so over the years, historically. Many times over the years, and this is originally a response to that. But it just keeps happening, man. Let's just dip in and stop it. This is called the energy bulb. I can speak so much more on all of this, but I won't because here we go. Pitch black pestilence absorbs you wholly, leaves you empty. Can't control these dark thoughts, and they're all you see. When you fall, who will be there to prop you up when you'd rather be visible? As if it's merely physical, sometimes it is not enough. I can show you the way, but they're your footsteps. And even if you can't look yet to the future, you'll get there. You'll get there. Let's share any burden when you feel you need to. Ain't no blueprint, but to those in the cocoon whose moods sink and the room shrinks, just know I see you. So you won't be left in the cold because you are an energy bulb that illuminates over time. Take it and reject any expected result. 3 months and you're fine. Yes, you'll evolve. It's just that right now life's luminescence is dulled. But you are an energy bulb, and remember that you will shine. Thank you. No.
Thanks so much, Callum. That was absolutely lush. It was brilliant. Thank you. Thanks. That was really great. And I've got to say, so I don't know if you know this about me, but I really, really love words as well, except I can't use them like you can, for example. But there were words that popped out for me. And one of the things that got stuck in my head was coded anomalies. And I really, really love the idea of that and just the words. But all of it was just awesome. Thank you so much. That's brilliant. Thanks. So it is kind of nice to be performing stuff live-ish again, is it?
Yeah, but I definitely relate to, and I think I've written about this in the column in the column that I write, how online actually makes it better for a lot of people. I don't think that it should be the default because it assumes that autistic people don't do public stuff. We do, but it actually makes us connected even more. I think for reasons like this, because I can't get to Brighton very easily, so it's great. It's great to be united.
And also, sometimes live venues are more difficult for some of us and stuff. I mean, I'm aware that I find it very different doing a live show to doing an online show. And it's true, isn't it, that we all vary massively in how much, I mean, personally, I really kind of thrive off live energy, but also there's so much more anxiety involved. It's unbelievable. So it's interesting, isn't it? I think we're all really varied in just how much the different things kind of affect us and which are the ones that give us the most buzz or make us feel the most comfortable. Or yeah, I know what you mean. I think it's really great that we're doing a lot of stuff online, a lot of us, and there needs to be more of it, I guess.
It's forced us to think differently, hasn't it? Which we need to.
Yeah, massively.
About how we involve people and get people's voices heard. So it's good.
Yeah, totally. And give them not just kind of temporary other alternatives of ways to be entertained and stuff and do stuff, but like it's just another layer of the entertainment that's available to us in the world generally. Kind of, if that makes any sense. I'm quite prone to waffle as well, so just so you know.
I love waffles, but there's more I could say, but I won't. Let's not.
It's all right. I love waffle as well. I can do it for days on subjects that I dig, which is quite a lot of subjects. Callum, thank you so much. Genuinely a pleasure to have you on. See you at a future show.
Hopefully.
I'll read your book. I will read your book. It looks fantastic. I'm going to let you go and have your evening. Have a nice Friday evening, yeah? Thanks for joining us. See you later.
Bye.
That was Callum Brasso. Actually, I've just remembered that the first time that I encountered him was actually at the Autism Arts Festival in Kent just a few years ago. And I was pretty floored by him then, I've got to say, to be honest. A little bit gobsmacked. I hadn't encountered him before because he's from further up north, and you know, sometimes we kind of miss different networks of performers, and he's just ace. But then you know that because you just saw him. I'm going to tell you a little bit about why I love lights for a second before I bring the next performer on. And she is ace. She's really brilliant, but I am going to have to share something about why I love lights just for a moment. I'll keep it quite short. I like light fittings and lights of all kinds a lot, but I do tend to have a bit of a thing about light fittings in all kinds of different environments that I go into. So I only really realized a few years ago that they my eye is drawn to them. Wow, I'm full of haphazard higgledy-piggledy English today. I'm not like my most articulate at all. So my eye is drawn to light fittings in a lot of spaces that I go into. Equally, in some places, not unlike a lot of people on the spectrum. I'm on the autistic spectrum. There are lots of places that I can't even go into because the lights either just give me a headache or I just hate them so much I just can't do it. Tube lighting, things like that, awful bright lights. I know lots of people will also resonate with this. You'll get it, I know, but it's like headache city for me. But then most of life is headache city for me, to be honest. And so I like soft lights particularly, and really pretty ones, just like really pretty ones, to the point where I've liked them so much that I haven't realised that actually I quite like my life to be full of light art all the time. It sounds incredibly precious, but it's just the way it is. And at this stage of my life, I'm not apologising for it either. I just dig it. Good light should be mandatory everywhere. And I'm not giving up on that one. I'm just going to spread the word. I do know lots of people agree with me. Anyway, I've got a lamp here. So I have, because I never ever put my big lights on at home unless I want to stress myself out into leaving the house because I'm finding it hard to get myself moving. So I'll put a light that makes me feel uncomfortable on, like the big overhead light in the middle of the room, because then it's like, I don't want to be here anymore. I have to be outdoors or elsewhere, or I just have to move and not be comfortable. So I do have lots of lovely, pretty lights in my own home because I kind of collect them. This lamp I personally really love. I don't think you can see it there. How am I going to do this? I'm firstly going to not blind myself so I can see what it looks like to you guys. This is like a mosaic lamp. And I might just take a picture of it and put it on Instagram or something as well, actually, or on Facebook and what have you. But this mosaic lamp here is one of my favourites. I sometimes tend to use lights that I love in performances that I make, funny little performances that I end up doing for things, and lighting is a really big part for me and always has been. I'm a bit obsessed with lava lamps. That's not fully why this is called Lava Elastic, but it's a little part of it. Apart from the molten lava churning of my anxiety-filled stomach all the time. That's another part of it. So that I love lights. It's as simple as that. I'm not going to talk about it too much because this show is about funny people and brilliant poetry. But if you do want to know more about my lights, and they are pretty, there are some fine ones. I'm a hoarder of some really good light fitting shots, I've got to say. I'm a bit of an expert these days. You might even become a convert if you follow me on Instagram. Or follow Lava Elastic on Instagram, very importantly. Yeah, I just really like lights. They just, for me, make the world a prettier place and a more bearable place when they don't give you a headache or make you feel ick or stress you out. Or, yeah, I think maybe a lot of people can relate to that actually. Um, so that's that. And now for something pretty marvellous. The next act, it's really quite a long time since she's been on, and it's always just brilliant to see her do her thing. I'm not going to tell you what she's going to do. She's just going to do it. She's just going to do her thing. This is Samita Unjumbled. Hi, Samita.
Hi, is it working?
Hi.
Yes, it is.
I can hear you really well. All good.
Okay.
Shall I skedaddle from out of your screen space and you can get on with doing your thing?
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Thank you for joining us. I love your shirt. Sarah J was right. Your shirt is magnificent. Is that a
Thank you.
starfish?
There are starfish.
Cool. Yeah, it's lovely. Really like it. Right, I'm going to let you do your thing. I got mesmerised by your top. Okay.
Hi, I am. Who am I? I'm Samita, quite jumbled. How am I? How am I? It's like when you want to answer, but you don't know how people are going to interpret your answer. And if you answered honestly, it would just be like, I feel dead things moving through me, good dead things, all of the energies of the dead living things, they're still moving through me. I feel the resonance of what I'm sensing, up and down and through and out, around the body that I'm trying to be living in. Up and down and through and out, around the body that I'm trying to be living in. In my head, it's sort of like the whole magical dead energy thing, but if you said that to a person when they ask how you are, then they'd just kind of look at you and be like, you feel dead things. Yeah, and then it gets a bit awkward. The last time I did this lava elastic gig thing was whoa, time machines, was probably about a year ago, and I'd been in a little room for a long time, just me and my shoes, me looking at my shoes looking at me, looking at my shoes, and I was singing something like, shoes, shoes, I used to wear you shoes, and now you just look at me. Shoes, shoes, I used to choose to wear you shoes, and now I just watch you standing there while I sit here. You're standing over there to remind me of everywhere that we used to go. Oh, now we don't go anywhere. I don't actually know how to play the guitar, by the way, but if you pretend how to play the guitar, then you can kind of look like you're playing the guitar. And also, it's not even my guitar. I think the thing about like the digital life world is that you can't really been going to some places again this year, and I think there's quite a big transition actually with going places thing again. Just the wearing the shoes part, just the adjustment of having these sort of like planet bubbles attached to your feet, where you lift your foot up and the planet feels like it's getting lifted up with you, rather than you just scurrying about the house with one sock on, one sock off, like an unfazed toddler, because the other one fell off somewhere, or you only remembered to put one on before getting distracted or losing the other one somewhere. Like I lose things all the time. Like even like tidying up is losing things. Tidying is like losing and hiding everything that I own whilst moving and finding everything that I forgot I owned at the same time. But what was I talking about? We've been going quite a lot of places, me and my shoes. It's kind of like, yeah, the shoes are the ones that are the ones walking, and I'm just being carried like an unwilling pedestrian of the planet. And my sensory jumbledness is, well, I've been sensory jumbled for a while as my normal existence, but maybe it's kind of even more sensory jumbled than before, if that's even possible, when doing the going to places game again thing. Like I went to the cinema, which just really made me want to be a ghost at the cinema. And yeah, I went to the cinema and I touched a theatre seat thing, and I thought it was a peach. It was like one of those furry cinema seat things, one of the red ones. And then I went home and I thought a peach was a theatre seat. And then I went to the cinema again and I thought the theatre seat was a peach that was a theatre seat pretending to be a peach, pretending to be a theatre seat. And then I thought I was a peach. And then I thought I was a peach that was about to be sat on because someone thought I was a theatre seat, not a peach. These are the kinds of things that you shouldn't tell the doctor if they're a part of your normality experience when you're absolutely, probably, questionably fine. But do you ever get that fear when you go places and you try to be like as invisible as possible? That like someone might just walk into the cinema and sit on you because they don't know you're there because you're being invisible. Or that you've sat on a being invisible person when you don't know they're there. Or maybe it's just all of the invisible people sitting on all of the invisible people in an endless game of sort of really uncomfortable, awkward, invisible ghost people Jenga situation thing going on. Maybe I actually need to reconsider the wanting to be a cinema ghost thing, if that's going to happen. Oh, and talking about the going places thing where other people are thing, I feel somehow obliged to say that I'm doing all of the things that need doing, and my OCD-ish brain is still hyper aware about the risk of me killing the world with my superpowers. But yeah, when you're the specific flavoured kind that my brain is, it's like sort of like waiting for COVID test results after stepping outside the house becomes sort of like waiting for a pregnancy test, apart from it's waiting to find out how many people you've killed instead of whether any new ones are going to be born. And then I always somehow feel like I failed the test for getting a negative result, and then I do it again, and then I feel like a failure again for failing the test. And then spend the rest of the week having symptoms of doing the COVID test and not having COVID. Anyway, I'm going to put all of that stuff over there because I'm over here. And what else happened in the last year? Oh yeah, I had hair grow. Yes, I grew it myself. The thing about when you cut your hair and then you don't see people and then you have hair grow, and then it grows 4 or 5 times longer than it was before. People think you've had a haircut, which is confusing when you've had a hair grow. I had a hair grow, I grew it myself. It's going to take some getting used to, because the hair grow gets louder and louder the more the hair grows, the more the hair knows about me. And then it shouts like a radio monster, and then I want to cut it off again, which I do until I have another hair grow. Yeah, I cut off like all my hair last year because it was just making me really angry. It was just my hair was making me really angry, so I just cut it off. Seems like a fast solution. Apart from then, it was just like, ooh, like just on the floor. That's what hair on the floor does, obviously. You know, I guess that's the point where normal people sweep it up and put it in the bin and move on with their lives. But I couldn't do that because, well, all of a sudden it became weirdly controlling, as if it hadn't been controlling enough, being all angry at the fact it was attached to my head before I cut it all off. But now it was on the floor, it kept telling me that it would get even angrier in the bin, and then the bin would get angry, and then I'd have to put the bin in the bin. And yeah, so I had to sort of negotiate with it. You know, that thing which you do when you pretend to be peacefully coexisting with your terror friends, which you absolutely aren't frightened of. Yeah, I was starting to get concerned because it started to sort of like demands that I like pat it, like just like twice, like that. But don't you dare do that to me, by the way. I will kick you. Well, I probably won't kick you actually, but I just might react in some way or another, like unless I like you or really fancy you, in which case that's dangerous domain. But anyway, the hair on the floor, it started to like demands I like pat it. I want to say like pat it on the head, but it didn't have a head because like this is the head that I chopped it off from. Sorry, I'm just just become hyper aware of the fact that I'm sitting here doing this. And I think the thing about like comedy or like whatever this is that you can bring stuff and say stuff and share stuff, and often people are like, yeah, me too, definitely relate to that. And that sometimes is what makes it funny, but like, you know, to not be the only one laughing at me. It's like everyone else, inviting everyone else to laugh at me while I laugh at me with me, but still at me in a get off the floor kind of way. And then you're like, excellent, not an alien, or am an alien, and here are the other aliens, wonderful. But with this whole months-long arguing of the hair on the bathroom floor scenario, I'm just genuinely curious and kind of skeptical as to whether there are any other angry hair on the floor aliens out there. But yeah, that was quite a while ago now. There is no longer a 2020 hair creature on the floor, and there is hair on my head. Not the same hair, just to clarify, it's not the floor hair. New non-angry hair grow hair on the top of the head of an absolutely fine, sane person. I'm mostly fine at the moment, and apparently look more well than I did. And even though on the inside I'm like, why won't the universe open up its stomach mouth, eat me like a sea star eats another creature? Why won't the universe push me to the middle and squash me into body-free particles and spit me out again? Why won't the universe teleport me home? Why won't the universe just open up its stomach mouth, eat me like a sea star eats another creature? Yeah, no angry hair left on my head at all. Yeah, I do this thing when I'm really anxietying, where I sometimes make lists of things and I send them to a very extremely wonderful friend, sometimes about things I've learned about sea creatures. It's quite educational, sometimes fascinating, kind of disturbing sometimes. Like sea stars was one of the things that I was looking into recently, first, or like some time ago this summer. Firstly, yeah, they can have loads of arms, such as like they can, well, up to loads of arms. Up to loads of arms, that's such a specific number. I think that's word mimicry from looking at too many forms or something. But yeah, I just get so tangled if I had like 40 arms, but I'd be able to hold so many marbles before I drop so many marbles. What else about sea stars? They've got no head and no brain. What a luxury. They also barely ever sleep. Same kind of. They can grow back their limbs and also their entire bodies. Like their entire bodies. If your entire body dissolved, why would you want to grow back your entire body? I mean, you wouldn't just want to grow back your elbow or your like earlobe, but I'd be so cross if my being in a body had finally self-destructed and then I woke up in my seabed to find that instead of setting me free, it had grown back again into its original angry starfish form. I think I'd be the angriest, most disappointed starfish on the under the sea planet land. Yeah, they also because they're so sensy, they sense light and dark from their supersensory cell-covered arm tips, which help them. If you didn't know what an arm tip was, you know, which helps them find food. When I found this out, I thought I wanted to try that and try being an arm sensy starfish next time I go into a food shop and just see what that's like. And off I went into my ice lolly buying mission land, and yeah, then I realized I was too sensory sensing distracted already. Like I was sort of already subconsciously overcompensating on the sea star vibes. But because they're so sensy, sometimes means they can react fast, and that's why they sometimes move lots and they're solitary and quite on their own. But they do congregate with loads of other sea stars occasionally to eat together, like a group buffet. What a nightmare. I wonder if they actually want to or just forced to by sea star family obligations. Hang on a minute. Are starfish autistic? Or is it just the autistic starfish that are autistic? Or like, are my autism things even autism things, or are some of them just starfish things? Oh, they also like to eat snails by attaching their bodies to them and then getting their stomachs to appear from their mouths, and then they eat them, which I think is super efficient. And there's a thing in my brain right now, the thing that forces disordered eating to be undisordered eating is, it's taken like really graphic notes on that right now. Yeah, I also did the anxiety distracting sea creature list thing with pufferfish. Oh, I didn't do them with pufferfish. I did it on my own to send to a friend who is absolutely not a pufferfish. And when I internet searched them, I read that they have a slow, somewhat clumsy swimming style, which made me imagine a pufferfish in an assessment with someone asking them, "Do you have a slow, somewhat clumsy swimming style that affects your inflatability and makes you vulnerable to predators because of being slow and clumsy? Are you pufferfish disordered? Are you toxic to your own species? Are you poisonous? Do you think you're poisonous? Maybe you're not poisonous. Maybe you're just pufferfish disordered." Yeah, because like apparently almost all of them contain a deadly poison called tetrodotox. I can't say that word. And like one pufferfish can kill like 30 humans. Well, almost all of them have this poison. But I bet if I ever tried to kill 30 humans with one pufferfish, I'd end up picking the non-poisonous one. And then I'm imagining me as a pufferfish person in my assessment replying, I have a slow, clumsy living style, but I'm yet to turn into a spiky, self-inflating, self-deflating hot air balloon and go hurtling into the skies and then crashing back down. Actually, maybe that's what's been happening. Pufferfish traits, minus the balloonish super skills, but probably with the poisonous thing on the days that I think I'm poisonous. It's weird how they call the thing that's poisonous the poisonous thing and not the thing that's trying to eat the other thing the poisonous thing. Like maybe it's not poisonous and they're only killing you because you're eating them. Yeah, that's apparently some of the reasons some of them have spines on them is to make them even less palatable. And I'm not sure how we can know this is the reason because like this thing about them tasting horrible to fish predators, because like how do we know that? I don't think any of us are fish predators, as in predators that are also fish. Yeah, that's the sea creature lesson over. Yeah, thanks for listening to that completely very jumbled thing that just happened. Feel free to come and rescue me, someone from the digital land.
Hi. I was just thinking, does she want me to come and say hi? Samita, thanks. I did just learn some stuff. I genuinely did. Honest, I did. It was brilliant. It was lovely.
Maybe get a science person to like fact check that, but
yeah. Yeah, but do we actually want them to? Do we actually want them to? I'm not sure we do. I'm not sure I want some of that clarifying. I think I'm happier to have heard it your way, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. It's cool. Thanks for joining us. Thank you. Appreciated. Do you want to go and shall I set you free to every Friday?
Yeah, feel free to like press the button and send me back to outer space.
I'm going to throw you out. Is that all right?
Yeah, sure.
I'm going to throw you out with love. I'm going to send you with love. Thanks for joining us, Samita and Jumboard. See you later.
Bye.
Bye. That was Samita and Jumboard, and what she does, which is ace. And but I always find it hard to explain it. I just like it. I think you probably can see why. And if you like sea creatures, you'll probably really see why. And guitars and lots of other things like shoes and stuff. That was a little treat. It's been a while since I've seen Smita. We are coming towards the end of the show, which always is a little bit alarming. It seems to happen really fast. Just to mention before the last fantastic act, there are future shows, and also this show is pretty special because of the Arts Council funding that we have received to do a handful of shows. Some are live, this is online. I would squeeze more online ones in if I can, but I don't know that we can just yet. But in the future, who knows? That is the plan. But to be honest, there will be online shows anyway, one way or another. Because we like them and we need them and they're fun, and they're just like Callum said, they're a different kind of fun to live. So we do have actual future shows coming up. We have on the 10th of September, there is another live show at Sweet Venues, which is in Brighton. And it's kind of the Brighton home of Lava Elastic. Well, actually, it is the Brighton home of Lava Elastic. It's where we started. It's where we still do stuff. Also, and this is kind of exciting because it's the first time we have physically gone up north. Well, we will have physically gone up north rather than having brilliant northern performers joining us, because we can do that online. But we're physically going to go up to Stockton, which is pretty up north. It's more up north than I'm from. So beyond Yorkshire, all the way up to the northeast. We've got a few acts on there that are comic and also poetic, including Kate Fox. If you know of her, if you don't, look her up. and check it out. And including people like Lizzie Lovejoy and some other brilliant people like Neil Harris, Neil Down Stand Up. That's what I always remember him as, because that is his Twitter handle, and also it's just etched in my brain, because how can it not be Neil Down Stand Up? I'm aware that I'm waffling, and I'm now going to stop waffling and bring us back to the last ace act of the night. And she is ace, and actually she's from my neck of the woods, from the Yorkshire end of things. In fact, pretty much almost the same, like proper say, almost the same neighbourhood. This is Blue Glasses Girl. Hi. How are you doing? Hey up. Exactly. How are you?
I'm all right, love.
Cool. Good to see you.
Good to see you too again, Sarah.
Is that do you have a melon around your neck?
I do, because I'll tell you what, this is a fella's shirt, and I have a habit of putting on my clothes the wrong way around. I put it on.
Okay.
And I now have a dress.
That's brilliant. That's really lovely. That is really nice.
Wearing it like this on purpose.
I like that it has a melon on it.
It's got a melon on it. It's got pink flamingos. It's got a watermelon. I'll tell you a secret. I hate melons. I hate them. Hate them.
I used to be allergic to them. Are you allergic to them?
I'm allergic to them.
Do they bring you out in like little weird lumps?
Yeah,
because I find
I've
that.
got in hives. I've never met anybody else that's allergic, so I don't even normally say it. But I am.
Oh my god, yeah.
Watermelons, them yellow melons, the whole lot.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, sometimes I have a reaction to them and sometimes I don't. So it could be like a decade in between that I don't eat any melon because I think I'm allergic. And yeah, I get like internal hives. This is really gross for the viewers, but this is really great for us to know about.
Urticaria. Yeah, you get
urticaria. Oh my god, yeah. I used to get it from prawns and too much whiskey when I was a teenager. A late teenager.
Can I do that as well? See?
Which one?
We're like allergy twins.
Oh, that's really lovely, isn't it? Isn't that heartwarming, Emma?
But I do like the look of them. That's the thing. Like, how cute. I can't figure it out with this camera, but that watermelon, like, it's so
they are
cute,
beautiful. Yeah, they're beautiful.
Like, I love looking at them, but
I know.
hate them.
And also, I'm tempted when I see them. But also, I do sometimes get this horrible buzzy, lumpy feeling.
What do you think to that?
Oh, you see, I saw it and I thought, well,
not very inclusive, is it?
Not all of them. Not all of them.
No, it was part of an art exhibition, but I just had to put it up for tonight because I thought I'm leaving that there now.
Can I just say to you, I was actually just about to say, but some of my closest friends are NTs, but then I realised they're not, so I can't actually say that. But there's no other reason other than I just think they struggle with me. I don't know. We are non-combative. We are a non-combative.
This is it. We are inclusive. I just want to point this out.
I like it.
This is only occasionally. This
I'd like one. I like it. I'd like one. If you want to send one my way, that would be cool. Yeah, I do actually dig it. I'm really amazed that you've got the same allergies as me. That's quite hilarious. But also,
literally I feel never met one person.
But also, I feel for you as well, because you know some of them are really great fruit, and it's a shame.
I know, that's it.
But can I just say before I shove off and give you your screen?
Yeah.
The really funny thing was in my late teens, I remember being busted by my dad for going out one night and drinking too much whiskey because he spotted the hives on my hands and went, "Too much whiskey last night." And I was like, no. And I was meant to be the well-behaved one. I busted myself because of my allergies.
When your allergies out you.
I know. What kind of nonsense betrayal is that? It's ridiculous. Yeah, but also prawns are my favourite food on the planet. But luckily, I learned how to counteract my hives brought on by prawns, and I don't even get them anymore because I just ate my way right through them and got through.
My little friends that I've got on me today, they like the prawns, don't they? These little guys.
Is that really what makes them pink? Yeah, it is apparently.
So, but I can't believe that.
No, apparently it's true.
Pink anyway, I don't know.
I think they can. Well, the other Sarah was nodding as well. I think there's quite a widespread.
I mean, according to Google, that's why they're pink. So you know.
Samita might know about this one if I ask her as well, because sea creature stuff. she's good at, and I might pick her brains on that later, because
Well,
I
you
like
know-
prawns a lot, and it would be good to know this about them for sure.
Well, you know how Samita was saying, wasn't she, that the puffer fish are slow and somewhat clumsy in their swimming style. Now that matches my swimming style. So then I was like, hang on a minute, that matches my swimming style because I'm dyspraxic. So that makes me vulnerable. So is that why I attract toxic people on Twitter?
Maybe.
See where I'm going with that thinking?
Because you can't move away fast enough.
No, because she says you're vulnerable to predators.
I know, but that's what I mean. Partly because you can't sense them in the same way, and then you can't move away fast enough.
That's what I mean. Slow
Maybe.
and somewhat clumsy. It explains everything. I'm dyspraxic. I can't get away. I'm trying.
It's possible, you know. This is feasible.
mean,
Wow, we even solved the
so
world's.
many things in my life, Sarah. That
We even solved.
before.
We even solved the world's problems on Lava Elastic, Emma.
See what I mean? Like, don't worry, dyspraxics. This is why this happens. We're trying to get away, trying to run away from them toxic folks, but we can't really do it.
Do you know what? I'm going to get out of your screen and stop derailing you, but because I want you to have your screen to yourself, and I'll come back and derail you after.
Sounds
Is that
great.
right? Cool. Right, I'm out. This is Blue Glasses Girl, and I am squamooshing for now.
Love that word.
See you in a bit. I do.
Hi everyone, Blue Glasses Girl. You've probably guessed by the blue glasses already that I've got Erling syndrome. I haven't just raided Elton John's closet, although he does wear the same glasses. I've already self-disclosed that I've got dyspraxia and I have dyslexia. And people say, oh, you know, like, Emma, it can't be too hard living with dyslexia. Like, how does that really affect your life? I'm like, you try spelling incontinence. So I live with my adult son and he's also dyslexic. And sometimes it means he mispronounces things. So the other night he came down and he just gave me this look of disgust and he went, Mother, this house hasn't been cleaned. It's like living in a brothel. Of course, he meant hovel. But, you know, it's difficult sometimes, him and I living together, because he's an atheist, I'm a Christian. So we don't always see eye to eye. And when he was a younger teenager, I did find a bottle of vodka hidden in his bedroom. So obviously, being his parent, I tried to do the responsible thing, but I didn't want to cause any panic. But I just, you know, took him to one side and said, son, listen, I found this bottle of vodka hidden in your room. And just realised I didn't put the light on. There you go. I switched the big light off as well because of my Erlings. And I said, I found this bottle of vodka hidden in your bedroom. And, you know, it's okay if you have a drink now and again, but I just wanted to check in with you and, you know, check everything's all right. And why is it they feel the need to drink and like hide it from me, son? And he said, well, Mum, if you want the truth, I need to drink something to cope with living with you. So I thought, yeah, that's fair. So I bought him another bottle. So most of our conversations every day consist of him saying to me, Mum, you do know your religion is just a coping mechanism. And I say, son, you do know that I was the one that studied the psychology degree. So you didn't even know what the word coping mechanism meant until you met me. P.S. Jesus loves you. But parenting can be difficult, but it has helped me learn a lot of things. Because in a nutshell, if I had to describe to you parenting, it's basically clarifying things repeatedly to people that you don't think need clarification. And it was great practice for managing workplace situations. So I used to work in a school and I had to say, no, Sharon, you cannot snog Jason in the broom cupboard during break times. That is actually a true story. I worked with a year 5 kid who sneaked on them and told me. They're married now. Have you noticed when you visit the GP, they say, what's wrong? I'm like, well, if I knew that, I wouldn't be coming to see the GP. having anxiety often keeps me awake at night, and I find myself having like random thoughts. I don't know if this happens to you. I'm like laid there thinking, do penguins have knees? Can penguins wink? Where are all the baby pigeons? Like, why is it people are so paranoid about having the valuables stolen when they're out and about, like keeping the bags safe and everything? But then when they go into a coffee shop, they'll just leave it on a chair and ask any random stranger to keep an eye on it. And then there's the whole pizza debate, isn't there, about what's a suitable topping? And when people argue if you can have pineapple on a pizza because it's fruit, but then you point out that tomato is technically a fruit. So then does that mean you can have tomato sauce, which is like the main constituent of a topping for a pizza? I don't have any pets because my landlord won't allow them. Although if I did have one, it'd be a cat, because I've every respect for the fact that they can lick their own genitals clean in public. I wasn't always single, but I became single when I realised I could no longer cope with the mother-in-law. Seriously though, there is a lot of pressure, isn't there, on singles nowadays, on single folk. I heard this person reassuring a friend. She said, there's no need to worry when a date went wrong. She said, don't worry, Susan. There's plenty more fish in the sea. And I'm sure as Samita can tell you, the scientists have predicted by 2050 there'll be no more fish left in the sea. I don't actually date at the moment, unless that is you class being bombarded with lots of personal questions within the 15-minute journey from a local pub back home again by my Uber driver as a speed date. Is it only me? Or when you hear the neighbours arguing next door, do you ever stop and wonder, now is this the standard argument? Or is this the time that she's found his Facebook dating profile or Tinder profile online? Don't you think it's weird how British people complain about the weather like it's a personal attack? I overheard these two women talking the other day and they were like, that wind, Maggie, did you see it? Like, did you? I can't even do anything. It's blowing my pants about all over the place. And I'm like, wait a minute. In my head, I'm thinking, you're complaining that the wind is blowing and drying your clothes. And I'm like, can you imagine if you had to phone somebody to complain about the wind? It's like, who are you going to call? Like, we've got Ghostbusters, haven't we, for ghosts? But what about the wind? Do you ring up and say, hello, is this the wind complaint department? Yes, I would like to report the wind for being too windy. Yes, officer, I have a description. It was southwesterly direction, very blustery in appearance, very strong, so much so that it stole my pants. Is anyone else obsessed with reality TV shows? I think it's that seeing how the other half lives, isn't it? But doesn't that mean Kardashians should be watching me technically? You know what I mean? I'm the other half. I'm the poor one. So shouldn't their camera crew come across and be in my house and follow me watching me sat on my sofa eating burritos? Thank you very much, I've been blue glasses girl.
Thanks, Emma. Thanks loads. How was that? You've been gigging, like, have you been gigging? Have you know?
Non-stop, mate, non-stop.
Really?
I've been doing a gig, I gigged throughout the whole of lockdown, so much so I'm a bit exhausted, I won't lie. And then this year, I've slowed it down a bit. I'm gigging maybe like once a month or maybe like every 3 weeks. But during lockdown, I was gigging like once a week, if not more. It was just great.
Cool.
Yeah. And do you know what's been the great bit? International. Do you know what I mean? Like with people all across the globe.
I've had
comedians across the world. I'm not just in my little Leeds Bradford pond. You know what I mean? It's been great fun. I've loved it.
Yeah, it was an interesting shift, wasn't it? I did notice that suddenly people could actually, it was like it could be a real mixed bag of comedy lineups and things. And
it's been lovely making all these connections. But I've met some amazing, like just like, and really creative folk as well, like what you've had tonight. So not, you know, they're not just doing comedy, they're doing other things, like doing art or writing.
They're just
or poetry.
very much doing their own thing, which is amazing. And if we hadn't had this online opportunity where we it started off that we've had to do stuff online, but now I kind of like it.
I do. I'm really thriving in this online world. Been doing a bit of improv and other things, and it's so convenient for me being a carer, being at home, and being able to access it. You see, and I'm sure it's the same. It's accessible. It's accessible for a lot of disabled people for different reasons. Yeah,
absolutely. It is a little bit of a game changer, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, I think it's going to be around, isn't it?
I think it's sticking around, and I think it's about time, to be honest.
Although I would love to come to Brighton.
Well, that is an option as well.
It's just my travel anxiety is not letting me at the moment, but one day I shall be there.
Oh, I'm staying very homebound at the moment, just so you know. So I get it.
I promised the viewers.
Oh, there it is. The high heel. So it's a high heel sellotape
dispenser. Because I was saying to you, I can't have just ordinary stationary equipment. It has to be aesthetically pleasing.
That's boring.
Dispenser.
I get it. I find that really boring as well. I wouldn't be able to do that. I used to collect things like, rubbers when I was little, like erasers
me too.
of every smelly kind and every kind of shape and colour, like boxes full of them.
And the smells of them, the smell gorgeous.
And like normal erasers were just the most boring things, and I feel like that about stationery stuff as well. I actually quite like stationery shops for that reason. But yeah, none of you boring tape dispensers and stuff, because what's the point? Yours is amazing. I really like that.
Well, the thing is,
never seen one
special
before.
Kind of tape as well. It's called magic tape, so you can't see it.
It looks familiar. I've seen that kind of stuff
on
before.
It as well.
Brilliant. Wow. Did you get it as a magic tape dispenser?
No, I bought the tape separate.
Oh, I'm totally going to pick your brains on this. I genuinely, I am actually taking a photo of this again, even as we speak. I really am a little bit obsessed with it. It's quite amazing.
It's not made a public appearance until now. It's his first public appearance.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I love it. I'm totally getting it at some point. I hope you don't mind. The great thing about that kind of shoe is we can never turn up at the same place wearing them. So, I can copy one and have one in my home, and it's not like that thing of not that I care about turning up at a place wearing the same thing as somebody else. Personally, it'd just be nice to think we've got similar nice taste or whatever.
I can't wear high heels, so this is me living vicariously through a stationery item.
I totally understand it. I don't wear high heels anymore either. Any high heels that I do have are just art at this stage of my life. I literally only wear them like once a year.
Sarah.
Yeah, same here. I'm 5'9".
You're the same height as me. We put heels on, right? And people start to get uncomfortable, right?
Exactly. Emma, can I just ask, does this mean we've never met in person, have we? I didn't know you were 5'9" as well. Wow, how weird is that?
That was the biggest interesting thing when restrictions started to loosen a bit, and I did a couple of live gigs, and I did meet some people I've met online, and they were like, whoa, you're so tall.
Yeah, it's really...
People are already seeing this much of me.
It's really surprising when you suddenly realise that actually a lot of us have never met each other in person, and yet we kind of feel like neighbours. We sort of feel like neighbours. It's a bit like having a natter over the fence, isn't it?
Totally. I do that with my neighbours as well, quite literally. We talk over the fence.
Exactly. Well, then you're much less of a grumpy misanthrope than me, because I still stick to my mum's rule of we never know our neighbours. We don't talk to our neighbours. They might want things from us. They might pop around with a cup of sugar or something.
They do. It always happens. We actually go to each other's like food and stuff, so it does happen. So she's right.
Oh my goodness.
Advice.
Yeah, you're a braver person than me. I couldn't bear it. If my neighbours come round, I pretend to be out. Not that they would, but
Curtains closed. Lights off. I'd be out sofa if you have to.
Do you know, we're coming to the end of the evening.
Great night, Sarah.
I just got really distracted by folks popping up on the feed. This is why Sarah J does the tapping side of things, communicating side of things. Variety D said, what size are the heels again? She might have to borrow them.
Variety D, it's a tape dispenser. Get your act together. You can something.
She might have really tiny feet.
I think Dominique's been smoking somewhere. It's a plastic tape dispenser, Dominique.
They're so pretty, though. They're so pretty. If they really were shoes, then...
Oh, yeah, they would. That's what I'm saying, though. They would make a good pair of shoes. They would be lovely, wouldn't they? But, yeah.
Can I just say, Helen collected erasers as well.
Yes.
She had a set of cat ones. That sounds ace. I never had any cat ones. I had all sorts of weird shapes and lovely smell. I remember
I ever had a cat
one.
one.
Good. Never had a cat one. That sounds amazing. That sounds.
What
really...
about my bunny rabbit? I better show that before I go as well.
Oh yeah, you should actually, because it's.
Because you found that inspiring, didn't you?
It's really cute.
And I've got loads of mascots on my desk, guys. I'm not going to go through them all, but I've shown you the tape dispenser, and you can see the bunny rabbit.
You could always share them individually on your social media, and people can be directed in that direction after the show.
That's actually a great idea.
I'm going to share my lovely lamp that I couldn't make work on screen. Can you forgive me, but I'm going to wrap up the show now.
Lovely to talk to you, Sarah.
And you, fantastic to have you with us. I'm going to let you get on with your evening now. Have a lovely one.
You.
See you later.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
And you too. Thanks, Emma. See you later. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye. Well, we actually have come to almost the very end of the show. Just to say thanks, firstly, of course, to all of the brilliant acts that have been on tonight. So I've got my list because sometimes I forget what's happened in the last 10 minutes, let alone in the last 2 hours. And that is really no joke. That genuinely does happen. So going back to my list. First of all, we saw Helen Edwards, who joined us from up north. As Sarah Johnson said earlier, somewhere I saw it. I can't remember where it happened, but it was said. Very up north, not far from Stockton, which is where we're going up north. Because it sounds like a different planet because of lockdown, which is weird, but it's true. Thanks for joining us, Helen. Helen Edwards. And then we had the marvellous poetry of Callum Brazo. And check out his social media because he has written some really ace books and it's worth checking them out. After that, we had the fab Samita Unjumbled and her musical stylings, guitar, sharing, just general lovely brilliance, and some sea creature facts and speculations, perhaps. Maybe. So that was Samita Unjumbled. And then last but not least, of course, we had Blue Glasses Girl. And again from up north, we've had a mixed bag of folk from all over this evening, which is really lovely because I don't know about some of you, but lots of you might drive and might get out of your area and stuff, but I feel very like I live in a little village called Hove these days. So put it this way, since lockdown, because I'm very Hove-centric due to not driving, having a lot of anxiety about travelling, getting on trains regularly, stuff like that, as in I don't yet. I kind of, the people in my local coffee shop know what I drink and stuff like that without me having to say it these days. And the point is, it's actually really, really nice to touch base with people from other bits of the country. And we get a little bit of an insight into what's going on in other bits of the world that we're not encountering in person yet, shall we say. I'm sure it'll resume that we do at some point. But anyway, waffle aside, I'm going to, just before I wrap up fully, bring the other Sarah back.
Well, hello.
Hello.
Hello. And me. Hello. What an awesome evening. It's been brilliant. We've had such a wonderful time. And yeah, I just love how diverse everything is. And Callum said, he popped into Facebook and said, this whole platform sheds light on our collective voices. So thankful. And it's like, oh,
that's one of the loveliest things.
It is.
That's one of the loveliest things.
Yeah, and so glow up about all of us and all of our things and all of our differences and all of our specialness.
we're all doing our best with that, aren't we, really? To kind of
Yeah,
do as much more of that as possible. Because let's face
absolutely.
it, I don't mean to be funny. And I know that I said to Emma, you know, I'm not sure if I fully agree with NTs suck. What I do agree with is we've all done many years of going into environments and places that are pretty unfun, because we have quite a lot to put up with sometimes, and it's really nice to
Unforgiving.
just not do that. It's just
Yes,
really nice to not do that,
it
and do
is.
things in a way that hopefully works more for some of us that need to do things a bit differently,
Yeah,
or
exactly.
things to be a bit different, and
Yep.
don't have fun in that kind of space. And so while I'm going to be really good and what's the word, diplomatic, and say, well, I'm not sure I'm fully going to get behind NT suck, but I'm going to get behind NT forms of entertainment can kind of suck rotten eggs sometimes and be really
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, and yeah,
And that's
we
an
work very
undertaking.
hard to make this as accommodating and as friendly and as welcoming to everyone and all of our specialnesses. Because yeah, as you say, we are just humans doing our human thing, and there is glory and wonder in all of us if we just take the time to take a peek.
Yeah, absolutely. That I can't build on that.
Sorry.
I don't need, no, I don't need to add to that. That's true. That's really true.
Yeah.
We're back in a few weeks on stages, aren't we? But
Absolutely.
not online for a bit, but we will be at
Yep.
some point. So correct
Absolutely.
me, just in case I've forgotten anything, my dear, because I might have done. You know, it
Yeah.
happens.
Yeah,
Um,
occasionally.
10th of September, Sweet
Correct.
Venues Live. Yeah.
Yep, 7:30. Tickets can be gotten from sweetvenues.com. And we'd love to see anyone who can pop down to Brighton.
Yeah, and also there's a Stockton show on the 18th of September.
Absolutely.
You can get tickets from ARC online.
Brilliant. Is that ARC?
It
ARC.
is, thank you. ARC
Brilliant.
Stockton. Yeah, absolutely.
Brilliant.
And then we've got another one in Brighton on the 8th of October. And other than that, who knows what the future may bring? Who knows?
Absolutely. But we will be back and around. There's going to be dates. There's going to be live dates in November, December. We're certainly doing our annual Christmas show. That'll be a lot of fun. We always have a fabulous time. I make mulled wine and bring mince pies. It's just important to do these things.
It is. And I get to wear a Santa hat, which is always nice.
And my little reindeer ears. Well, that's antlers even. They're not ears.
The race. Can I just say that all of tonight's performers, of course, have their own social media stuff.
They do.
And follow them, find them, check out what other stuff they're doing online, because they're all really multi-talented. They're all doing all sorts of different stuff. And keep an eye out for them, because it's been pretty awesome having them on tonight, to be honest. And that's one of the lovely things about our Arts Council support as well, is the fact that we can really show our appreciation for just how much they flipping rock.
Absolutely.
Quite honestly, just how much they rock, all of them, in their different ways. Thanks, performers. Thanks, audience. You're all lovely for joining us.
Yeah, we're so appreciative. Thank you so much. Both on YouTube and on Facebook, we got there, and the love has been brilliant. Thank you.
Yeah, it really has, and it's deeply appreciated. And if you like lights, follow me on Instagram and stuff as well, and Twitter @BarbSarah. I just like lights, so I share them. That's it, really, isn't it? Really,
it is. It is. She really does. So do send her pictures.
I really do. It's true. It's got to the point now. This is just as a parting thing. It's got to the point now where my sister has now even realised that she can, if I need her to help me out with something, I'm very, very bad at paperwork, and she's excellent at it. And I really need her help desperately. She now pacifies me with a couple of nice light fittings if she's been too busy to help me with this. Just sends me a couple of beautiful light fittings from the place that she's been busy doing stuff.
Yeah.
rather than helping me with the task. And she knows I'll be fine with that, and I totally am. I'm just like, it's like
brilliant.
hypnotism. It's like hypnotism. I get the light fittings, I see them, and I just go, oh, that's lovely. And I totally forget that I had a deadline with some paperwork that I can use and sleep over that I desperately need her help with. So light fitting, maybe I shouldn't tell people how much light fittings calm me, actually. Maybe it's like, yeah, maybe I should stop sharing this.
No, don't stop sharing that.
Oh,
The
no, not
joy
the
on your
light
face when you get those
Not
pictures
the,
is
not
just
the light
beautiful.
not the light fitting, Sarah, don't worry. Just the fact that they have practically a hypnotic effect on me these days. But, you know, on that note,
On that note,
on that note,
I'm sharing anonymous. It's MO.
I'm going to throw us both out, Sarah, so we can go and have our Friday evenings.
And let our people head off onto their Friday or whatever day that they're watching this. Even if you watch this on a day that isn't Friday evening, you know,
go on, have a lovely time after.
Absolutely, but do also write your comments. We love to hear from everybody. Yeah, please be in touch. Loverelastic.com, I believe, is where we can be found on Tinternet.
Can I just point out that we are in the final stages of reconstruction, and that will be live very soon. So new website really soon. But
well,
yes,
even more reason.
.com.
Even more reason for people to keep an eye out for that, because we have some really great stuff coming.
Sarah,
darling,
we could talk the hind legs off a donkey collectively. I think we should go.
How dare you talk about my donkey hind leg collection?
I'm throwing us both out.
Private.
Sarah, thank you to you for tonight as well.
Oh, thanks right back at you, lovely. Oh my God, this is turning into a love fest. Right,
I'm
going. Send me away. Take care, everybody. Thank you so much for being here.
Right, all of you, F off and have a good night. Bye. See you later. Thanks for joining us. As always, it's a pleasure. And I've been Sarah Loves Lights Saeed. I will continue to love lights, though. See you later. Bye.